Hello viewers, you are welcome to Bioethics channel. This is the online platform of the African Center for Bioethics Research and Training. We are here to brainstorm on some bioethical issues and challenges as they affect humanity and society. So I remain your regular anchor, Pascal Chinoya Leke, PhD, University of Lagos, Nigeria. And with me on the stage is Dr.
Molai Bandura, PhD, Scholar Economics Department.
You are welcome, Dr. Bangura.
Welcome.
So we're going to look at certain issues, and headline the topical issues in the terrain of bioethics. So this one we're going to look at what they call Savior Sibling, the issues and controversies surrounding this concept, Savior Sibling. What is Savior Sibling? How did they come about this concept? And what are the issues? So let me first give an overview of what it is from our bulletin. Savior Sibling are children who are conceived with assisted reproduction techniques to save the life of a sibling affected with a fatal disease that is best treated by hematopoietic stem cell transplantation. Their stem cells are typically harvested from the umbilical cord after birth. A stem cell transplants from cord blood have better outcomes than those from bone marrow, but sometimes both options are employed. They want to say, how does Savior Sibling work? The key to Savior Sibling is pre-implantation genetic diagnosis, PGD. PGD was first introduced in the early 1990s, as an alternative to prenatal diagnosis of genetically inherited disease in couples with increased reproductive risk. PGD offers parents a way to avoid passing on a heritable disease, eliminating the need for elective termination and mitigating the risk of miscarriage. The embryos, or the embryo, so to speak, that clear the hurdles of both sidestepping the disease and matching the sick child's tissues are implanted via IVF, in vitro fertilization. Other viable embryos can be frozen and stored if another cycle is needed, or you wish to leave another child. Or you wish to have another child through IVF. They can also be donated to other couples, to medical research, or discarded. So upon birth of the Savior Sibling, stem cells are harvested from the newborn's umbilical cord for use in transplant. So in other words, what they are getting from this is a child is conceived. The purpose, not for the purpose of that child living his or her own life, but to use that child as a spare part to save the sibling that might have one illness or the other that is genetically related. So you, through in vitro fertilization, you conceive that, then you use the same embryo to conceive another child. So when they want this one needs spare parts, so to speak, you harvest from here and you to save that one. So that sixth one is child A is the one meant to live. Then child B is the one meant to serve as spare parts or organ harvesting room for the other one. So this type of issue surrounds Savior Sibling, the concept of Savior Sibling. So how are we going to look at this? Savior Sibling, conceiving a child, not for the sake of that child's own life, but for the sake of another. So this raises a lot of bioethical issues. And that's why we threw it on the table to look at it and see what is our own perspective on this issue. Dr. Bangura, do you have anything to say about this?
Yeah, on the face of it, I think it has some scientific logical argument. More so, for me, I want to situate it in the situation where we have people with sickle cell carrying children that have a lot of implications or inabilities when they are born. So to maybe avert the growth of children within that space, you might really turn on to this concept of savior, you understand? So Savior Sibling technique. Although it really serves as a way of getting one humanity in existence, but then on the moral side of it, more so based on our own culture, using one child to save another child, but at the expense of the savior, I think for me it has some ethical issues, you know. So these are for me, although it's again situate science in a very positive way, but then culturally, I don't know, it does not really bode well within our own culture, where you'll have to sacrifice one child for the survival of another. So for me, at the outset, I think that is my initial take on the discourse.
Well, the issue of Savior Sibling, we're not really going to dwell much on it now, just to throw it open so that we get feedback from our viewers, comments from them, we know the next step to take. But in all, it has been contended that when parents conceive a child to save another sick child, they violate the principles of beneficence and non-malfeasance in medical ethics. And there's no medical benefit for the Savior Sibling, but at the same time, there could be risk in the procedure. So the issue of beneficence, this getting it is to benefit the other, not the sick child. I mean, not the one, the Savior Sibling. So this is just a spare part for the other one. So it does not, when we look at the principles of biomedical ethics, do no harm, or do it in the way to benefit the other. Now, it does not benefit the child B, it only benefits child A. So it's also a consequentialist approach. But we're looking at it, but the family needs a child. So they have to, they will have to sacrifice one for the other. So the while it does harm to child B, it does good for child A. So we have to situate it within the context of consequentialist ethical discourse, so that we can look deeper into it. Maybe through the feedbacks we get from our viewers and comments, we then channel it properly and draw a trajectory for this kind of practice and how it can be applied in our own culture. Because some of these practices are alien to traditional societies like Africa.
Well, again, when we take a deeper look at some of these concepts, we may think they are alien. But then if we take a deep dive into our culture, again, there are issues of sacrifices being done within our culture in terms of child upbringing. Maybe this might be just one aspect because it's looking at the medical concept. But let's take a case in point where you have 7 children in the house, and then you say, I'm going to educate only this one child at the expense of the other children. You understand? For me, this is really like, it's an analogy. It's like a Savior Sibling thing to say, okay, I don't have resources now but then we'll pool all our resources towards developing one child. And if you succeed, you save the family. I think that again will be within the scope of this Savior Sibling thing, where your siblings have been, their own development have been sacrificed for the development of one. So for me, you can intersperse all of these concepts, although this aspect of bioethics, you know, in terms of medical, is alien to our society. But then our culture also has an inherent sibling savior mechanism, framework, you know, in our social structure.
Yeah, from what I said, also that point is also what happened during the left thread. When the family would sacrifice one, let us say this one to take care of others. So that's a big problem. But that's why we need to situate it in the right framework so that we can understand it better. So if throwing up something now to do that comparative analysis in this practice, in the realm of bioethics, and then within the culture, certain practices that point to this kind of, but this is in highly development, we look at it from the higher level. But when we narrow down, we also see similarities in what we practice. So I think that's where we draw close the curtain on issue of the Savior Sibling. We are still going to revisit this matter when we draw the framework for our discussion. Thank you, Dr. Bandura.
Thank you very much.